Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next video here from the EV Tourist. My name is Adam, and I am the EV Tourist. And today we're going to talk about another part of our trip where we went out to Utah, and particularly we're going to talk about taking an electric vehicle to Moab. Now, right now we are in the video that you're watching, we are driving from Torrey, Utah, and there's a video that's already posted on the channel about our trip to Torrey and specifically to Capitol Reef National Park. But now we are traveling from there to Moab, which is kind of the destination for 4x4s and off-road vehicles and that kind of adventuring in at least this part of the country, if not the entire U.S., and really a pretty cool place to visit. Getting from Torrey to Moab, not too difficult. We went up to Green River, which I talked about in a different video. We charged there, made it down to Moab just fine. I'll highlight that the way that we handled charging here in Moab was to stay at an RV park and rent a pull-through RV slot, and we just used that pedestal and the 50 amp power there and the portable charger that came with my vehicle to charge every night. So we woke up every morning with a full charge. Worked beautifully. Now, this first day was really just getting to Moab, getting settled, getting dinner, and nothing too exciting. We did hit up a grocery store. We bought some groceries. We kind of got settled into the camper, and we got dinner. And I'll just kind of let you see how that goes. Now, as we're coming into Moab at this point, we've settled into the camper. I did want to point out that we had dinner at Zach's restaurant, ZAX restaurant, and I'll link it below. Great pizza, really interesting atmosphere. Right on the corner outside is this kind of flame sculpture kind of thing. Super cool to watch. Great spot there in kind of the main drag in Moab. And if you're ever there, I would highly recommend going and checking out Zach's. We had great pizza. We had great pasta. Just really a good place to eat. I would highly recommend it. So one of the things that we often like to do when we're traveling, instead of staying in hotels, instead of doing some of those things, we like to rent houses, or in this particular case in Moab, a camper, and we like to actually get there the first day and go grocery shopping. That gives us an opportunity to buy some food that we will cook for ourselves, save us a ton of money, make mornings go really well because you can have that breakfast that you really want, not have to rush out the door, deal with fast food, and it also gives us an opportunity to see some of what the local environment is like, right? Are there foods that are different in that area? Are there snacks that are different types of potato chips or candy or, common meals? And you get a chance to experience some of that, and kind of intermingle with the local people when you're in these shops. So this is what we did at this point as we stopped to get our groceries for the week, including our lunches while we're going to be in Arches the next day. All right, so we got up the next morning and we headed out on what really was kind of the pinnacle of this trip, not only to Moab, but the entire trip. So, if you watch the videos from the other ones, you'll kind of understand everything we did. But this was what we really wanted to come to do. We wanted to come to Moab, and we wanted to drive through and experience and hike and visit Arches National Park. Now, we did have to make this quick stop here at this Walker's True Value. There's also not only just hardware, but also like sporting goods in this same building. We realized we had forgotten to bring a portable kind of a folding backpack that we wanted to be able to throw waters in, snacks or whatever, as we were going on some of the hikes that we would do when we were in Arches. So certainly recommend that you bring some sort of a backpack. We like the little portable kind of folding ones that we can throw in a bag and just use for that purpose. But, any kind of backpack that you would like, depending upon how serious of a hiker you are. But we headed at this point right into Arches National Park. And like everyone does, and like we did at Capitol Reef, you have to stop and you have to take a picture. And that is exactly what we did right here. All right, so picture achieved, and we headed on. I will stop briefly for a second to say that I believe that the National Park Pass is worth it if you're going to be visiting these places. It's $80 for a year. You only have to visit a park 2 or 3 times to make it worth that value. So please take a look at that as well. Make sure that if you're at the right time of the year that you have a reservation, a timed reservation to get into Arches National Park. You do have to have that. I believe it's between like April and September. We were slightly before that, so we didn't need it. But anyway, as well, when we pulled through the visitors for the check-in station and showed our pass and got our information, the park rangers mentioned that they are seeing a lot more Rivians and a lot more electric vehicles come into the park, and she had lots of really interesting questions. Another great opportunity to talk to someone about the vehicle. And then we made a stop here at the visitor center. Great visitor center, little museum in there, lots of opportunity to ask questions, buy your bits and pieces, and then as soon as you're done, you head off onto the main trail. Now, I'm going to pause here for a second because I want to talk briefly about an app that we used on this trip and on a trip we took to Hawaii a number of years ago, and it's called Gypsy. It's a really cool app that you put on your phone. It's available for iPhone and Android, and what it does is it gives you audio tours based on the GPS position you're at. So it gave us an audio tour of all of Arches National Park, talking about the places to stop, what to go see, how to accomplish those things, what to expect from the hikes. It's a great tour. Again, I'll link to it in the description below, but it's a really cool opportunity to learn a lot about the park while you're driving around, because there is quite a bit of driving that happens here in Arches National Park. So from this first viewpoint that we pulled off on, from here you can see the Oregon, you can see Courthouse Towers viewpoint, you can see the Tower of Babel, Sheep Rock, Three Gossips, you can see the LaSalle Mountains out, kind of laid out before you. Really great spot to stop and take some pictures. And as we come around the corner here, you're going to see one of the most famous landmarks here at Arches National Park, and that's Balanced Rock. And this particular spot is a great short little hike to go out and see Balanced Rock. And you can see this skinny tower of rock with this massive boulder kind of settled on top. And the guide on the audio tour talks about how people for many, many years thought that it was placed there and cemented in place. And it's not. It's a natural rock formation. Great spot to take a short hike, take some pictures. Fantastic opportunity to enjoy a really, really interesting and unusual thing here at Arches National Park. All right, so as we make a right here at this turn, we're headed down into the valley and to the parking lot for the hike to Delicate Arch. And Delicate Arch is kind of the famous arch here at Arches National Park. It's what you see in the logos. It's what you see in the brochures. It's kind of the most famous thing here. It's about a 3-mile hike, and you'll notice parking was a little bit difficult. And again, this was early in the season. This wasn't even April yet. But we did eventually find a parking spot and get to do this hike. It was a little more strenuous than I thought it was going to be. But this particular hike was incredible, and the views that we got from up on top, even despite it being windy, and the landscapes were just absolutely stunning. So this is a hike you do not want to miss at Arches National Park. So after spending some time with our chipmunk friend up at Delicate Arch, we left Delicate Arch and headed further into the park and ended up at our next stop, which was Sand Dune Arch. And this ended up being maybe my favorite location at the park. It's a short hike. It was, I think, less than a mile, and you kind of have to go into these small slot canyons, and there's spots for the kids to kind of crawl in, which you get to see a little video of here, and you get down into kind of this secluded, sand-filled area with this beautiful arch. It is just a stunning, easy-to-get-to spot for the family to enjoy. Just a really, really cool spot. So I'm going to let you kind of take a look at our experience there with Sand Dune Arch. Right. Good job, Betty. Good job, Bobber.
There's another secret tunnel. That was
So the next thing, and one of the last things we actually did in the park, was to head up to the Devil's Garden campground. We did not camp, but the campground looked absolutely gorgeous. Just basic camping, right? I don't even believe there's electricity up there, but there's potties and things like that. In essence, what what it gets you is an easy access to, or an easier access to, Tapestry and Broken Arch. There's a hiking trail that will take you through Sand Dunes, Broken, and Tapestry, but we chose to just hike the quick hike to Sand Dune and then drive up to the campground and hike to Tapestry and Broken Arch. These were great. Tapestry was gorgeous because it's an arch with this great rock wall behind it, beautiful. But Broken Arch was just really, really picturesque. And I've put some pictures up so you can kind of see what that was like. But it was a little bit longer of a hike than Sand Dune. Completely doable. Great way to kind of end our hiking day that we were all done at that point. And, great spot to go. I highly recommend checking out both Tapestry and Broken Arch. So we certainly didn't get to see everything there was in arches during this particular trip, right? We didn't go to Devil's Garden and see Double O Arch and Private Arch and Landscape Arch and Navajo Arch and all of those others. We didn't really get down to the Fiery Furnace. We did drive by at one point, and as the sun is setting, it was really pretty. But we did get to see a lot of things, and we did thoroughly enjoy what we got to see. What we did do to end our day, which you can see right now, is we took the Willow Springs Road, which is kind of an off-road trail, out of the park. You can do this either way, and actually it is a way to get into the park without having to pay, although technically you're still supposed to. And we did because we had the park pass, but there is no gate or there's no check-in station when you actually exit or enter the park via this route. It does require a high-clearance vehicle, 4x4. There are a couple of spots that were a little bit tricky, but this was absolutely a blast, and I can't wait to go do the entire thing in the opposite direction during the day. So I'll let you watch the rest of this really cool trail.
Good.
All right, good morning. It's Thursday morning. Well, almost. Well, I guess it's still morning. It's 11:14. We tend to have this bad habit of not getting out very early.
I mean, we better not continue that tomorrow.
Right?
Listen,
It's nice to get some sleep, and we were kind of exhausted. But it is snowing in Moab this morning. It's not super cold. It's 39 degrees right now. But it is snowing and wet. Although I think radar-wise it's not supposed to stay this way for very long. We're going to make our way toward town and try, I think, Tusher Tunnel Trail. And see how that goes. The Willow Springs Trail out of the park yesterday was absolutely a blast. Super fun. A little more challenging than I thought it was. The Rivian absolutely just ate it up like it was no problem, like I was a pro driver, but that's also supposed to be a pretty easy trail as well. But hopefully we can keep the cranky out of the kids, right, you two? Hey, and that one can stop having preteen fits.
Preteen attack. I just called teenager.
And Brittany says she's a small teenager. But here we go. We're going to give this a try. This will be interesting to see where we go. And just a note, renting an RV, a glamping RV as they call it here, has been really, really nice. We've got up and made breakfast in the mornings. Nicole made cinnamon rolls and bacon and eggs this morning. And I did bacon and eggs and crescent rolls yesterday. Just wonderful way to wake up and super comfortable. We may have to buy us a trailer because this has been just a lot of fun. But we've got the time lapse going out the window, and we'll see how this goes with all the crazy weather. I don't know what today is going to look like, but it should be fun. So we stopped at the rock shop here. Pretty cool. We're gonna go check out another one, but I just wanted to show you the situation we find ourselves in. It is snowing big, heavy flakes. If you look up in the mountains, it's starting to stick up there. It's like 40 degrees. I mean, it's really not cold, but holy smokes. There's the river. Yeah, we're gonna keep adventuring. This may be a quiet day back playing games, and we'll see what happens. All right, so just like that, things have changed. I'll show you. It's now bright and sunny. The snow is gone. Popped into a rock shop, which was a lot of fun. Cool rock shop right on the north edge of Moab. They both got necklaces. We're still searching for the right thing for Mr. Brian over there, but yeah, we came out of there and noticed the sun, so we're gonna come up and give Gemini Bridges Trail a try. It's about an 8 mile. Is that about right? This one was 8? 13 mile. North of Moab, west of Arches. And we're gonna go see these Gemini Bridges. Supposed to be a pretty easy trail. We're up in rally off-road mode, and we'll see where we go from here. So hopefully the rain hasn't made a lot of this impassable. Here we go. So Gemini Bridges, this off-road trail we're on, is a 13.2 mile point-to-point trail. So it doesn't come back and end where it starts. You actually go from one point to another and have to take roads to get back. It's kind of considered a moderately challenging trail, so not super challenging, but certainly not easy. At least will require a high clearance 4x4 vehicle. I don't think you'd need low range in particular. Some great fun climbs. The only super challenging part that we saw had a bypass, so I think this is approachable with, like I said, any 4x4 high clearance vehicle, and absolutely worth the time. The kind of the middle of the trip when you get to the two bridges that are the Gemini Bridges. Great short little hike. Great trail, great spot to stop. Highly recommend this if you are in a vehicle capable of doing it. Now, as we come up here, I'm going to pause the video right at a certain spot. And when we get to this spot, we noticed on the trail that you could continue the trail to the right, or there was this little detour off to the left. And I know the video is going to make it look super flat, but this was a more challenging obstacle than than anything I had ever done in a vehicle. And we sat here for a few seconds, and I looked at Nicole, and Nicole looked at me, and I was like, what do you think? Should we try it? And she literally looked at me and said, YOLO. And so off we went up this thing. Now, we did make an attempt and have to back down and do it a second time, but we were giggling the entire time that this was happening. This was so much fun and a great indicator or a great example of what can be done in an electric vehicle that is designed for this type of work. The Rivian is absolutely designed and built to do off-roading exactly like this. This was so much fun. If you are here in a vehicle that's capable of doing it, I highly recommend it. So the drive back from the end of the Gemini Bridges Trail was absolutely gorgeous. We were kind of being chased by a bit of another snowstorm, but absolutely gorgeous drive back. We did stop at this Dinosaurs of Moab or something like that spot, actually use the restroom. And look for a snack. And, you know, if your kids are really into dinosaurs, that'd be another attraction you could take them to. It's kind of a walking park with replicas of dinosaurs all over. Could be fun. We didn't do it. Might be right up your alley. But really, that was the end of our adventure in Moab. We went back to the camper at this point, played video games, packed up, stopped at the trading post and got Brian a necklace that he wanted with a stone that really spoke to him. And just kind of ended our day quietly. We did laundry, we showered, we played games, we watched TV, we went out for one last dinner, and that was the end of our time in Moab. So I hope you enjoyed this adventure and this trip. Again, the things I would say are important to think about and know are that Moab's absolutely doable in an electric vehicle with the right level of planning, realizing there is no level 3 charging right now. So take that into account until either NACS is fully opened or there is level 3 charging. But you can absolutely do this, and there's great trails, there's great vehicles that can do this. Arches could be done with literally any vehicle on the market, and you would have an absolute blast. So if you've enjoyed this video, we certainly hope you give us a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos coming up very soon. And again, thank you for watching, and we will talk to you soon.